Welcome to the Conscious Publicist Podcast, a space where thoughts become ideas to advocate for a more conscious human experience in the media. Our thoughts and ideas inspire action, and the most notable leaders and organizations have transformed thoughts and ideas into global initiatives that have impacted the lives of millions. My name is Ashley Graham, and as a woman-owned business founder and publicist, I guide leaders, visionaries, and creators in discovering their conscious media voice and methodologies that inspire connection, community, and impact through aligned media channels. In this podcast, we'll dive into public relations, thought leadership, business, and entrepreneurship, all through the lens of being a conscious human being. I'll take you behind the scenes into the habits, thoughts, and modalities that have helped leaders shift past paradigms of limiting beliefs, comparison, and self-doubt to show up for themselves to become the subject matter experts they were called to be. Subscribe to the show on Apple or Spotify and join us on this journey of awakening the conscious, enlightened leader within you. Over the last few episodes, we've been exploring how the most impactful leaders, especially thought leaders, are those who break the mold of conformity and bring their authentic, vulnerable selves to their work. And today's conversation is a perfect example of that message. I'm thrilled to bring you a conversation with someone whose work and heart have deeply impacted me personally. My guest today is Natalie Bullen, founder of Unapologetic Wealth. Natalie is revolutionizing how entrepreneurs, especially women and people of color, approach wealth building and financial empowerment. What makes Natalie different from other money coaches is her refreshing perspective on wealth creation. Natalie doesn't shame you for your spending habits or make you feel small about your financial decisions. Instead, she empowers entrepreneurs earning between $100K and $2 million to make smart financial choices that lead to genuine wealth, building the kind that provides true freedom and security. Natalie describes herself as soft-hearted, a sheep in wolf's clothing, and an accidental entrepreneur extraordinaire. And you'll soon discover that behind her bold, unapologetic approach to wealth is someone deeply committed to helping others avoid the financial struggles she once faced herself. Get ready for a powerful conversation about breaking free from financial limitations, speaking your truth, and building wealth on your own terms. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Natalie Bullen to the Conscious Publicist Podcast. I am so excited to bring today's guest on the show. And before I let her introduce herself and give all of the gems and brilliance of what she does in her business as a thought leader and as just an incredible human being, I want to mention that this is what I've gotten to know about Natalie, taking business out of the equation. Earlier in 2024, when I experienced my first miscarriage, Natalie, and the beautiful heart that she had reached out to me personally and asked if there was anything that she can do for me to support me through going through that experience. She asked for my address to send me flowers and some very beautiful, thoughtful gifts. And that was the most incredible generosity that I could have received in that time. And that is who Natalie is. She is incredibly thoughtful, incredibly supportive. And I just could not wait to get her on this show to be able to bask in this conversation and this dialogue with her. Natalie, welcome to the Conscious Publicist Podcast. I am so honored to have you here today. And I would love for you just to share your background, what lights you up, what guides you into doing the incredible work that you do. Just introduce yourself to the audience.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here. And I think you summed it up. I'm soft-hearted. I'm definitely a sheep in wolf's clothing and an accidental entrepreneur extraordinaire. I run a business called Unapologetic Wealth, which, as the name implies, serves to get people to feel bolder and bigger and more empowered around their money. I am not your typical money coach. I am definitely not going to fuss at you for overspending or belittle you for making the wrong decision. My business was born out of really a frustration with entrepreneurs under earning in their businesses because it keeps you from building wealth. When you have a corporate job, you have a 401k, you have long-term care, you have tuition reimbursement, you have this whole suite of benefits that sets you up for retirement. And when you become self-employed, unless you have financial savvy, you don't know how to do that. And unless you have sales chops, you won't be able to close enough deals to pay yourself enough to really make it worth it. So I started my business really for the betterment of women and people of color who are running small businesses, specifically people between 100K and $2 million in revenue, but also people who aspire to be at that level so that they can start making good decisions and sidestep all the BS that I went through to get here.
See, the work that you're doing is just so incredible and it's so impactful, especially as we continue to move forward in the current climate and economy that we're in right now. Is there a part of your story or your background that was the catalyst into stepping into this work outside of obviously the desires to have wealth and security and stability? But was there a story, that heart and soul story and experience that led you into creating your programs, your business, and all of the amazing initiatives that you're bringing to life right now?
I don't think there was any one thing that made me say, I should start this business. I think instead that a lot of my experiences in my life, I've been able to weather because I had savings, because I was not impoverished, because I had an education, and because I had parents who really had my back. And despite all of that, I've been personally harassed and assaulted by the American dream. I filed bankruptcy in my 20s, even though I did everything right. I went to college on scholarship. I worked 3 jobs. I paid my own rent. I never went on vacation. I didn't have Birkin bags. I didn't get a BBL. I was a regular person in Huntsville, Alabama, but I just couldn't make ends meet. My student loan payment alone was $1,200 a month. It was just nuts. And so thinking back on how I was working my buns off, barely sleeping, eating like crap, but that the world was praising me. Oh my God, you're a young person. You're working 3 jobs. Kudos to you. You're paying back your student loans. Good job. But I couldn't get qualified for a house and I worked at the bank. I did not feel like a winner. I felt like a loser. And I realized that society rewards hard work, even though hard workers are the poorest people in the world. The hardest working person is not the richest person. Absolutely not, under any circumstance. And I've never met a person who can attest. Yes, I know a hardworking person, and they're also the richest person I know. And it's because hard work doesn't ever create wealth. And so I think after years of bad experiences, bad breakups, having a health scare, having to have surgery, it dawned on me, if you do not have control over your income, you are screwed. If someone else decides how much you get paid and you have very little opportunity to influence that, you're in trouble as soon as you have an extraordinary event. And I think in our current economic climate, there will be more and more extraordinary events. I think that they're going to become a every year thing, that something bigger than normal happens. And the average American doesn't even have $1,000 in savings. Like, I listened to the popular guru out there that tells people to take baby steps and deplete their savings down to $1,000. I listened to that man, and that's why I filed bankruptcy. I had savings, but I depleted it down to pay off my debt. And when I lost my job because my FMLA got declined, because my doctor wouldn't sign the paperwork, I had no cushion to be able to live on. Like, the American dream system, the current financial system is set up to keep Black people, brown people, and women either poor or oppressed or under the thumb of their husband, period. And I just decided I didn't want to live like that. So when I had an opportunity to get out and start talking about finances, I did it. And when I had an opportunity to start my business and create my own check, I did it. And when I had opportunity to be a commission only salesperson with an uncapped commission, I did it. And I'm glad that I did. But I can't say it's one thing. I think a culmination of a lifetime of disappointments in our capitalist system probably nudged me towards this business.
That's usually how that works, isn't it? It's not this beautifully curated plan. It's going through the motions, getting slapped around a little bit, having to fall and tumble to get yourself back up again. It's one of the greatest ways to learn, but it's also very challenging. It can be very challenging. So I don't want to diminish that. There were a couple things that you mentioned that I would just love to go a little deeper with you. I want to talk about the habits and practices to build your own wealth or to take ownership and empowerment of your abilities to attract, maintain, and grow wealth. You had mentioned how you had followed a popular guru, and it actually wasn't the right method or methodology that worked for you. It is really easy in the online space to follow someone else's path to wealth and think that's going to work for you. But in reality, it's not. Just because something works for someone else doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. It's two different sides of the scale. So, from your perspective, if you were to create a practice, a habit, or a methodology, what would you advise somebody in those early stages to block out the noise and follow maybe more conscious habits and practices to building that wealth?
First, I'm going to be controversial and say that I don't think his program creates wealth for anybody. I don't think it was that it was the wrong program for me. I think that the outcome was different. And so that's probably what I would tell somebody is to get really clear on what their outcome is. Is your outcome to pay off your debt? Is your outcome to create a savings cushion? Is your outcome to invest in the stock market? Is your outcome to buy a rental property? Is your outcome to just not be paycheck to paycheck anymore? I would get really clear on what is the finite, specific financial goal. And that way they can find resources that create it. That way they don't end up like me, a person who wanted to build wealth in a system that only served to punish poor people and make them feel bad about the debt that they had gotten themselves into.
You had also mentioned earlier that you lead with these perspectives that might be controversial. But I think when there's contrast, that's where we can learn the most. It's where we can find things that really align with us and that work with us, but then others that might not. So maybe this is just a personal question. I think if anything, I'm definitely the one over here just soaking it all in. But I would love to know, how do you overcome what could be classified as fear to share controversial types, to find the courage to speak them anyways?
That's a good point. I think having a good attorney helps because I ask my attorney, hey, is this slanderous? Is this something someone could come to litigation for? So we've gotten really specific about not naming people, not using their initials, not going out and saying this person harmed me specifically and this is how they did it and this is why they're a liar, unless we're planning on taking some legal action. So one is knowing what your liability tolerance is, because some people are litigious and they absolutely would love to drag you to court for saying something one way or the other. So I think that's one, is like knowing that I have legal counsel. But two, knowing that I'm not alone. The worst part of entrepreneurship is feeling alone. It's the worst part. There's no, that is not the money. It's not the up and down. It's not the revenue roller coaster. It's not the late night. It is feeling alone. When you make a mistake, you feel like you are a dumbass and you're the only person who's ever made that mistake. So it's easier for me to come out and say, you know what, I did this kind of thing and it was a boneheaded move. Or for me to come out and say, I hate email marketing and I've been vocal about it. And it's not easy to come out when people see you as perfect, when people put you on a pedestal, when people treat you like the god of sales. It is not easy to come out and admit, you know what, my email list really ain't doing nothing for me. It really ain't making me no money. In fact, I lost money on email. But for every time I say that, there's someone reading it going, thank God it's not just me. And it endears people to you. I think it depends on your brand, how controversial you want to be, how contrarian you want to be. But I would argue that most of us are not trying to run a guru brand, and that we all have a point of view that is anti-establishmentarianism. Most of us, unless you're a 65-year-old white man, you probably have a belief in your heart that is different than the status quo. So I think it would be harmful for me to not ever share what makes me different and why I feel the way that I feel. I think it would dilute my brand, and I think it would cost me money.
I want to just capture how powerful that is. What you just chose to paint the picture there is what I, in so many ways, try to bring this human centric perspective to entrepreneurship, to thought leadership, to personal narrative, and everything else that follows. It's so easy. And I believe that this is just a part of human nature that we get stuck in this comparison trap where we idolize and over glamorize what we see on the screens in front of us as what to expect or what we could expect. But in reality, things aren't as perfect as they always appear on social media or in podcasts. But that's what makes it a beautiful journey to experience. You have to go through the negative experiences to be able to call in the positive, and there's always balance. It ebbs and flows.
That's a really good point. I think at the end of the day, we're all human and we all have to build connection. I would rather build connection that is built on how I really am as a person than false connection. At the beginning of it, you talked about how you had experienced your loss. You've actually had a few losses, and I'm like, around, because I care. But see, that's genuine for me. It's real. It's not a mask that I have to keep up so we can have real relationship, because that's how I actually am. So I would much rather have fewer relationships that are deeper with people who really know me than to have to put on a facade and pretend to believe in the status quo just to be popular. I also have absolutely no interest in being popular. I really want to be impactful. And I think it's important for people, just like we talked about with finances earlier, you need to know what you're in it for. Some of us are in it for popularity. Some of us are in it for ego, and we just got to admit that.
I I can feel a shift in so many ways. I think just happening collectively, that if we weren't able to see through the smoke and the mirrors of what the digital space can be like prior to recent times, I keep seeing this image of this veil being lifted, that the most authentic, vulnerable voices, leaders, businesses, ones who have really honored that throughout their whole journey, or really bring that connection in their relationship of who they are as human beings, those are the people that are going to have and attract so much success and visibility, because like attracts like. And that's one of the things that I've always admired about you. I can't even tell you how long that I've been following along with you on Facebook. You are so real and so honest and transparent. And then to have that engagement with you through the first miscarriage journey earlier this year, that was just another confirmation of who I've always known you to be, even though we never met through a live Zoom call or face to face. And I think that is the most incredible things that we have the ability to do when we look at social media, podcasts, or all these other media platforms. It gives us an incredible opportunity to connect with people who lead with the heart and the soul. And you will always know who those people are through what they promote, through what they share. You can feel the energy, you can feel the vibration of what they stand behind. And I wanted to continue to affirm and praise you for how you nurture your message, because it is very captivating.
That's a blessing. I can tell you that that wasn't my intention. I never set out one day to be a public speaker. I think I have an affinity towards talking too much, and I'm glad that God has given me an opportunity to do it as much as I want now.
I'm so glad that I muted my side because I've been over here giggling the whole time.
It's the truth. I talk too much. It's what I got on all my report cards from those teachers that my mom said would be jealous of me.
I love it so much. The time that we have left, I would love to know because I know with your energy, what you do, what you bring, you are birthing and bringing something new into the world. Tell everyone, we'll do this two-part, ways to connect with you, but also what are some of the new activations that you're working on that you are very excited to share?
Oh man, we don't have that much time. I am excited that I'm going to be distilling down more of my genius, getting it out of my brain and into the world for people to use. In accordance with our mission, we are going to be touching tens of thousands more lives. So, launching a public podcast, getting some more digital products out for people who aren't yet at 100K per year, whether that's around their messaging, their sales process, or irresistible Facebook content. I am actually planning on creating a system where anybody could install onto their personal Facebook page to get the kind of engagement that I get, which I think is very desirable for people. I'm just excited about how many lives we're going to get to touch, how many more clients we will have, and that I will be able to maintain revenue without having to work more. So I think 2025 is going to be win.
That is the goal. And I can't wait to follow along with all of the wins. So I guess to wrap this up, what are the ways or how can those tuning in, how can they connect with you? What are your favorite platforms? I know you mentioned email marketing's maybe not the best
I
one. I
mean,
know you're
look, if
active
you
on
buy my
Facebook.
stuff, you'll get on my list, but you probably ain't gonna buy nothing over there because I haven't cracked that code yet. Facebook is where I live. That is your best bet. But I also have a YouTube channel and a TikTok. I'll make sure that our lovely host gets all of that information so that she can share it with you. And for people who are like, damn, I love listening to Natalie. I could listen to Natalie every day for the rest of my life. I got you. I have a private podcast called Birthright. It is 1 year of Monday through Friday, 5-minute episodes, really short, actionable, bite-sized, one topic per episode. Then it's an exceptional product. It's $200. And I know you've never paid for a podcast before, but you've also never gotten this kind of value in an audio format out of a podcast before. So I'll make sure that Ashley gets all of that information. So if you all want to take a little more step into Natalie world, you can.
Sounds perfect. I will say that Birthright was actually the program that I found. I believe someone had shared it online. That was how the introduction to you was made, was through that private podcast.
And it's such a smart product because we're all so busy. Everyone I sell to is busy. Most of my clients are married, they have children, they have pets, they have elderly parents, they have so many things. They're active, they're sociable, they're in multiple programs and masterminds. They're not going to sit down and watch videos and download PDFs, but everyone has 5 minutes that they can just pop in their earphones and listen to. And being able to have some business stuff and some wealth stuff and some mindset stuff, it's a really exceptional product. It really is. And so impressed that I came up with it and stuck to it. Do you know how hard it is to record 260 episodes of anything? Impressed by my own stick to itiveness on this one.
Yeah, keeping that level of accountability, especially through podcasting, structuring out your script, recording it, production, it is a full-time job in itself. So that's incredible that you were able to put all that together. Now, fun little question. Did you record all of those at once or did you break it up, span it
No,
out?
no, man, come on. I can't do 260 episodes all at one time. No, I didn't record any of them until someone bought it. Let's
Smart,
start there. Let's
smart.
Let's start that there wasn't one episode until somebody paid for it. But we batched it over the course of a year, just as I had time, as I saw fit. It's funny because some of the episodes you can hear like my voice is raspy. Some of them were like at the airport because I just hadn't gotten on top of it, didn't have a rhythm. But I think because they are unedited and because you can tell that I did them in real time, it almost acts as a journal of sorts. Like you can hear when I'm really excited about something, or I had one episode where I was so sad I cried. I can't remember what episode it was, but it was very real tears. But I had to get an episode out. And so I was like, y'all are going to get sad Natalie today. And sad Natalie still gave an encouraging word and had lots of people reach out like, are you okay? I was like, I will be, but it endears people to me and it indoctrinates people to my beliefs. I believe that you deserve to be rich. I think it's already your birthright. I think the money is stored up for you. I think that more people want to work with you. They just don't know you exist because you don't market enough. And I think you stifle what you really want to say because you want to be liked. And I think society has taught us that being liked is a currency worth pursuing. I don't believe that. I do not believe that being liked is a currency more important than the cash that pays my bills. I wasn't raised that way. So I go out of my way to shake it out of people that they have to be demure, they have to be meek or mild or humble. I hate humble. That no, you can be bold and audacious. If you're shy, that's fine. My mom is shy. I'm not saying you have to be a big personality, but be true to yourself. And a lot of us are working to be nice and be amenable at the expense of running a successful, wildly profitable business. And one day I'm going to be up at the pearly gates and I'm going to talk to God and he's going to say, I'm so proud of how big you grew your talent. Not, I wish you had done more if you weren't worried about what other people would have thought of you.
I need a wake up call from you every morning. I was going to ask just a final question of what story is really wanting to emerge from you right now? Because I believe that there's a lot of empowerment that comes from the stories that we're meant to share. And you just naturally went into that. And I
I'm
love
so
it.
good, right? I'm such a great podcast guest. I'm like, I'm already thinking about it, but no, it's so important. Like, I ought to get this tattooed somewhere. The currency of being liked is like defunct. It is like a dead currency. It has no value. And frankly, most people don't like themselves. So why do we give a damn if they like us?
That alone could be its own coaching episode of talking about where we fall into those limiting beliefs or those limiting patterns.
It's real. And I don't say it to brag. I think I know that I'm blessed to have had the kind of parents. If you met my parents, you would totally understand this. My parents were Black Panthers. So when I think about having parents that were born in the 1940s who drank out of colored only water fountains, who had hoses and dogs turned on them and narrowly avoided acid attacks in pools, like when I think about how it used to be basically criminal to just have brown skin, I just can't see myself being worried about what other people think about me and making that an obstacle in my life. Like my parents had real obstacles. There's somebody right now at a Walgreens drive-through putting back a prescription because they don't have enough money on their card. And my heart breaks for that. That's the kind of thing that shouldn't exist in a rich country like America. What if they knew that their side hustle or their business could be so profitable that they don't even need their job anymore? I just feel like I have such a big calling on my life that I can't be worried about what small people are doing. And I feel the same way about you. Like PR is so necessary, but most people shy away from it because they don't think they're famous enough, popular enough, attractive enough, thin enough, fit enough, funny enough, and they disqualify themselves from the very thing that would help them accomplish the goal that they claim they want to achieve, which is helping as many people as possible. So like you got that mission to share with people as well, that it's really not, it's selfish of you to hold back on your dreams and your goals and your initiatives just because someone somewhere told you it was too much. Everything I want is too much. My nails are too much. That's what I do. And I'm blessed that I can stand up and say, whether you like it or not, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be. And I wish that for everyone listening, that you can feel that way about what you are to the world and what you can bring out for people.
The energy that I just felt from all of that literally makes me want to go and just conquer the world. That is
That's the
the,
whole plan. Come on,
oh,
you're
this is
thinking in the
so
brain.
captivating. Oh
That's
man.
it. You that we have a responsibility. If you own a business, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your husband, your partner, your family, your children to make this thing work. You can't invest all your time in this thing, but you don't ever get a benefit. Why does everyone deserve to benefit from your gift but you? I'd be damned. I'd be damned if everybody in my community, the listeners got something, you got something, Facebook got something, YouTube got something, TikTok got something, but Natalie got nothing. Natalie and Dave eating rice and beans, but y'all living large because of what I had as a gift. That's nuts. But that's what people do. And they're so self sacrificing. You don't have to. That's scarcity. Scarcity tells us that we have to pay ourselves less and do less and have less so that other people have more. And it's BS. Actually, we can have everything. We can't have everything all at the same time. We can have everything. And it's really a big deal. We are a big deal. And that's so important for people to recognize. But now you see why people are clamoring for the podcast, because I did 1 year and I stopped, and folks was like, wait, come back.
I want to just put this little note in here right now that for those who are listening, go back, rewind, listen to it again, put it on repeat, make it your alarm. I don't know what you need to do. But like I said, those words, that level of conviction, I feel is what can shift our lives. And sometimes we have to turn to the people in our lives who have really claimed that level of what I like to call self mastery and self ownership to go out and live the lives that they desire to live, to receive everything that they are worthy of receiving. We have to create that routine and listen to that type of narrative over and over again to kind of rewire that belief in our essence. So I just wanted to say, go back, re listen, put it on repeat, record it. That was just very powerful. And I think that is where shift can happen, is rewriting that belief for ourselves and turning to voices like Natalie's to be able to claim that level of empowerment for ourselves.
I'm so appreciative that you had me on today.
I'm just it's been incredible to have you. It's been incredible to know you. And I really hope that we're able to take our connection even further in 2025. Thank you for all of the brilliance, all of the wisdom that you've shared here.
You're welcome.